Hi guys, welcome to the Savvy Money Show with me, your host Sean. Today we're discussing Coinbase and their IPO. It's going to be, if it goes through, it's going to be the first digital asset exchange to go public in America. They have to go through some hurdles with SEC first, and they're planning to do it in 2020 this year. Now, they have also spoke about the possibility of doing a direct IPO, and that would be basically the same as a SPAC, or getting someone else to do the IPO for them. If they do a direct one, it will cut out a lot of the stuff the SEC has to do to check them out, and it will make it a lot quicker. And we know how SPACs are so well received, but and we know how cryptos are subject to hype, so it would be well suited. Anyway, I think we spent enough time on that until it's actually a date is announced. We'll speak about a stock I picked up today. Senior. You must be careful with this though, because you must put in SNR.L and not just SNR, otherwise you'll come up with the Senior Assisted Living Association REIT, which is currently the subject of a number of class action suits for not having enough staff on hand during COVID-19. Now, why did I choose this? It's a third of the value. Number one. Now, it does provide a dividend. The dividend has gone down recently, just to show you. The dividend doesn't get announced until December, but the dividend history in December, it's had good growth with the dividend until last December. That was before COVID-19 or the Rona things across the pond. But even before all that trouble, this was showing trouble with the dividend. Now, to tell the truth, they actually made a good decision, because instead of paying the dividend, they were paying off some of their debt. So I wouldn't take that too literal. I know we're supposed to take it literal, but I'll show you what they were doing with the money instead. The net income is 29 million. The balance sheet, I spoke about this company before, but if we look at the balance sheet, you'll see how its total assets is over $1 billion, and total liabilities under $500,000. Now, it has 84% owned by institutions, not too many retail investors. If we go down to earlier on today, we will see how it's cut jobs, 12% of its staff. Now, not good for them, but good for our balance books. Now, because of the 737 MAX crisis, in November it started a restructuring plan to cut costs. That's why the dividend was cut. And it's good that they did. And it's good that they cut the dividend and they paid off debt. They cut the costs then, before this pandemic came out. Now, they don't just rely on Boeing like some people. They've also got Airbus, private jets, military helicopters like Black Hawk. You know, now it considered selling its aerostructures unit in April, but decided to keep it because they realised as they come through this, it will be worth more. Now, analysts at Credit Suisse said on Friday they were impressed with their cash performance, and the decline in aerospace revenue was not as severe as expected going into 2020. If you remember, when I was asked to do a Boeing review a couple of weeks ago, I said this was one of the types of companies I would go into instead. They are not doing the engines, they're doing the structures, and they are also doing all the other little parts as well. And if it comes down to it, these are parts that need replacing. Whereas with Boeing, although Boeing can do the parts, they're more well known for building the planes and selling them on. And during this time, Boeing is still giving out contracts to these companies, just not as much. Now, I think a third of the price is worth it. The 737 MAX issue was factored in November, December. Just remember that, and it was still 3 times more. Now, and you can see it didn't hit it so hard back then. It just dropped it down by $10-15 a share. When I was mentioned it was down there. Oh, I wish I picked it up there. But it is what it is. It's still a good value stock. And once they come through these and the orders start piling up again, they will start paying the dividend again. They have a PE ratio of 8.47. I think it's one that you should look into. Now, on to the next one. I bought Goldfields, which is a gold producing company, and basically PE ratio is high, looks high, and the dividend is just under 1%. But I did a review of about 20 different gold companies and 3 come out top, and the other one was Ashanti Gold. You know, I went for the ones that were below intrinsic value and book value. The dividend was 0.3. It's not worth it. So these ones are either below its intrinsic value or below its book value. And now we go on to, we already spoke about Brookfield in the past. We go into another one, not Apple, no, but the Chinese Apple, China Mobile. Now, I wanted to put something into perspective for you. Now, people, they look at this graph and they see a downward trend. And it is technically a downward trend. But then I look at the financials. Net income, $106.6 billion. But total to month, you know, no. Sorry, trailing 12 months. Now we're getting to the assets. Oh, look at that. This is just amazing. Yeah. 522 billion, 1.6 trillion. It has 3 times the assets of liabilities. Now, to put it in the perspective of Apple, because they're in the same area, net income and the balance sheet. Don't get me wrong, Apple has a great balance sheet. But when you look at the total assets against total liabilities against total assets, the assets aren't 3 times the amount. It's not even double the amount. I just think that people stay away from Chinese stocks because of what happened with Luckin Coffee. China Mobile are the biggest mobile company in China, and they're one of the biggest mobile companies in the world. People focus on Apple and Samsung, and I think they overlook some of these other companies that are always reinvesting in other things. I know the Apple fanboys are going to hate me for this. I think personally, Apple invented the smartphone, amazing invention. Apple invented the iPad, another amazing invention. Apple brought on the laptop, the desktop, so quickly and so far. Without them, we wouldn't have things we had before, because they pushed forward so far, and others had to step up their game or fall behind. But I think they're not innovating as much. I think what they're doing is tweaking the design here, tweaking the design there. Now, even with the new phone, new iPhone, both Apple and Samsung aren't bringing out a camera, like an under lens camera, that's comparable to Nokia, and they're $4 stock at the moment, a penny stock. Yeah, technically. So I think Apple need to get back to innovating, and they, in some cases they do, like with the telehealth thing, but I think in the big things they don't. And they see Facebook, they innovate, they're always innovating. You know, Tesla obviously innovating. You've got a lot of the big companies still innovating, even Microsoft. I think Apple, at some point they stopped innovating. Anyway, if you find any of today's entertainment helpful, don't forget to smash the lovely like button. Helps with the YouTube algorithm, getting the video out to more people. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Become part of the 7 Money Show family. We give each other hints and updates on stocks. You can also ask me to look into any share you want. Don't forget the bell notification. You'll be notified when a new video gets uploaded. If you're looking for a free trading platform which to trade your stocks and shares, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. you'll get a free share up to £200 for signing up and depositing a small amount. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.